Good morning, new 1%. It's your boy Boomin coming at you with yet another video, guys. Go ahead and do all the things that the algorithm likes for me. Join the Patreon down below. I will be doing portfolio reviews, answering any kind of questions you guys may have. Please let me know if you guys have any questions. Join the Patreon. I love you guys. Let's get right into the show. So, VeChain sets the standard in our real-world asset tokenization as 600 billion market emerges by 2030. Let's get right into it. VeChain is the forefront of real-world asset tokenization through its cutting-edge blockchain solutions, as the sector is expected to reach 600 billion by 2030. Tokenization of real-world assets is a rapidly growing trend that can significantly impact global investment landscape. The real-world asset tokenization sector has had a breakout year in 2024, paving the way for significant growth through the end of decade. VeChain, a layer 1 smart platform for smart contracts that enables developers to build distinctive smart contracts and dApps, is pioneering the real-world asset movement. Then it goes on to talk about all of VeChain's features and where it was created. Stablecoins experienced remarkable growth of 3,800 from 2020 to 2024, rising from 4 billion, more than 156 billion, capturing over 90% of the real-world asset market. Additionally, a recent report from Tokenized Asset Coalition estimates that the market size for tokenized assets stands at 186 billion, reflecting a 32% increase year to date. A report from Coinbase reveals that 35% of Fortune 500 companies are increasingly gravitating towards tokenization projects. Key players in this movement include BlackRock. MakerDAO has announced a $1 billion investment in the U.S. tokenized treasuries. And last week we reported that VeChain highlighted VBetter, a new platform aimed at incentivizing sustainable practices through tokenization. This initiative seeks to bridge the gap between daily actions and their economic value in the realm of sustainability. VeChain's early foray into real-world assets has not only paid off in terms of market leadership, but also paved the way for a new paradigm in how assets are managed and traded. Great article here, guys. I have nothing else to add. Let's go ahead and move on. Taking a look at the markets here, Bitcoin continues to move upwards towards 90,000. I think we could reach 100,000 by the end of the month. That's definitely good to see, guys. Definitely happy with how the overall market is responding to the Trump win. Taking a look at VeChain here, not really too much to shake a stick at. We just cannot break through this 2-cent mark here. But we are up a couple of spots on coin market cap. We were down here at the 60s. VeChain normally hovers around the 40s and the 30s, but you know, we got kind of kicked back down here. So I like to see that we're climbing back up the ranks. Hopefully we can keep it going, keep the momentum going, and continue to grow. And then finally, guys, we have Sunny Lu here. Nice little interview with Web3 Deep Dive. He's going to be talking about VeChain use cases and sustainability with VBetter DAO. I love you guys. Keep chopping wood. Join me. Join us in the Patreon army, the Patreon community, guys. I would love to get your opinions on where do you think this bull market is going to go. So, yep. I'm going to stop rambling.
Yes, we do. We call VT, is a native
yeah.
token. And also we have a second type of token we call VTHO, is actually a gas token.
Okay.
To, you know, kind of separate a bit, because that was the first, we call it a little bit like dilemma in the tokenomics design for most of the layer 1 platforms. So basically, you know, let's say the typical paradox is, if more user to use blockchain, that means more demands. And then the token price usually go high, right? But most of the layer 1 also link, you know, kind of have the gas linked directly to the token as well. So basically you do a transaction or you execute a smart contract, you need to pay the same type of token as a cost, right? But you see the paradox is more people to use, more demands, higher price of the token, that means higher cost of the gas fees as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So eventually kind of always going to this kind of cycle, and it kind of prevents lots of the enterprise, because the enterprise looking for a stable and a relatively low cost of doing the transactions. They also wanted to have a predictable transaction cost.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So otherwise, you cannot plan like, okay, this year I plan 100,000 for the cold gas fees. Next year, oh, boom, you got to pay $1 million or $2 million. Nobody wants that.
Right.
So we kind of separate. The VT token is a native token to secure the blockchain networks, and the VTHO is generating from the VT, but paying for the gas fees.
I see.
So that was one of the twin. I think we are the first one to design this twin token system, try to address this issue.
Interesting. Yeah, I actually didn't know that. So good to know. I want to shift gears a little bit. Let's talk about sustainability, because I know you're a big believer in sustainability. You're a big supporter. VeChain is doing a lot around sustainability. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Actually, it's one of the, I call it, it's not pivot strategy to sustainability, it's an upgrade of sustainability. And actually, most of the use case we have done in the past is as acting as a pre-steps to go for sustainability. Like I mentioned, all of the supply chain system or application, it basically onboard the different type of business process or activities on the blockchain. They're generating the data, new type of data on the blockchain, right? So there must be some unique value of the data. And we believe sustainability is a low-hanging fruits to monetize and valueize those type of specific data. Because Web3 is about the people. And Web3 is about to, let's say, connect to the individuals much more easier than before, and also discover something or monetize some value of the data of people at so lower cost. Think about that. If you do something good and you want to make sure that thing you do has some monetized value, how are you going to do that? In the previous world, either you trust some central entities like big platforms, or you got to hire an auditor, reputable auditor, to prove what you did. Right? That's in the Web2 world, that's how it goes. And for sure, you cannot afford that kind of cost if it's just a small fractional effort linked to a small fractional value. But with a blockchain, you can easily do that. It's kind of small supply chain or track and trace, that kind of system, just for individuals. And let's say if you do something good and we are able to digitalize that, record it, and verify by smart contract, incentivize you by token right away. And those type of the data becomes really valuable data if you look at the collective and accumulative way. So from this point, I believe that sustainability is kind of waiting for Web3 to solve some of the issues, or to be as the next use case, promising use case for mass adoption of the Web3 technology.
Right. And there's the VeBetterDAO,
yes,
which I'm familiar with. Can you tell our listeners what that is?
Sure. VeBetterDAO is as one of the deliverables coming from our latest white paper. We released the white paper, the third version of white paper in last year, with actually co-author with BCG together, Boston Consulting Group. And we call it a Web3 for Better. So basically we make a narrative like how we're going to use the Web3 technology to solve or address the issues of sustainability areas. And VeBetterDAO is the deliverables from this white paper, and we launched it in February, and going to be right now still in the testnet, and June 28, we're going to be migrating to the mainnet.
Wow.
And so far I'm pretty excited about, I'm pretty happy about the results even in the testnet. It shows exactly what we want to do. So VeBetterDAO you can consider as a marketplace, and the marketplace incentivize or motivate different type of, we call X2N applications, so all of the decentralized applications, to create a scenario for every user, normal people, to do good, make a better choice from your daily life, and eventually realize the collective value. Like, given an example, you take a coffee every day, let's say, or a few times a week, right? But especially when you travel, when you walk around to the coffee shops or Starbucks, you take a paper cup, right? But actually, if you think from, like, if you have a God's eye, God's view to see the entire world, 16 billion paper cups have been made and consumed every year by the world. It kind of coming from 6.5 million trees have to be cutting down to make those cups. So if I set up a personal target to you, you reduce 50% of your coffee consumption. Don't use paper cups, but use the recycled mugs, and you get reward about it. So I think, if you go to Starbucks 7 days a week, and you say, okay, I set up the target 3 days, 3 times, 4 times, I'm gonna use my own recycled mugs. It's not that hard, to be honest, right? But if everybody doing that, you get even reward to do that, and then eventually, as a whole community, we can save 3 million trees every year.
Yeah.
That's a huge result coming from the accumulative but also collective value, even from small efforts. That's what we try to do.
Got it. When you say rewards, what are the rewards?
The rewards are going to be by the tokens.
Okay, the tokens.
By the tokens.
Got it.
And also there are two parts of, let's say, job has to be done. Firstly, more and more X2N applications represent different type of scenarios. Let's say I made an example for coffee. You can take an EV other than fossil car. You can clean up a little bit garbage on the street if you just walk by, by your convenience. You can choose the recycled products other than just normal products, right? And you should get rewards to doing that. Or anything good, anything generally good to our environment, to our world, or make a better choice from your daily life, you should get rewarded. And that reward is coming from the token, coming from the smart contract, verify what you do, right? So that's one part of the job. The other part of the job actually is major, let's say our focus with BCG together is go to the enterprise world, go to the traditional world, to monetize those type of the tokens, to bring those enterprise also be part of the game. So they can create the utility of the token, they can bring the value to the token. So simply say, VeChainThor is also an ecosystem to tokenize and build up the liquidity for all of the sustainable assets. When we think about sustainable assets, it's not only about those physical hardwares, like a solar panel, like windmill, water plant. Yeah, those are obvious ones. Sure, we will, some of the sections, some of our use case is going to focus on that part, but also we consider human effort, human actions, activities. As long as it makes the world a better place, it should be considered as sustainable assets as well. And we wanted to tokenize that part and share the rewards and eventually create the value across the whole ecosystem and make everyone, part of the game. So it's not